guys, another vlog. This is the part 3 of me sharing my reflection. This is for final exam. Minutes of the proceedings on the national territory of the 1971 Constitutional Convention. This course covers the transcripts of the national territory records from the 1971 Constitutional Convention, as well as what our national territory was. It discusses the Philippines' right in its own territory, the Philippine archipelago including all islands and waters within it, as well as all other territories over which the Philippines has sovereignty or jurisdiction, including its terrestrial, fluvial, and aerial domains, as well as its territorial sea, seabed, subsoil, insular shelves, and other submarine areas are all included in the national territory according to Article 1 of the Constitution. The waters surrounding, between, and connecting the archipelago's island, regardless of their size and breadth, are considered part of the archipelago. Internal seas of the Philippines include the waters surrounding, between, and linking the archipelago's islands, regardless of their breadth or size. The Philippine Constitutional Convention of 1971 was established to revise the Philippines' 1935 Constitution. The role of Islam in the history of the Filipino people. An Arab missionary named Sharif Makdum came in Sulu in 1380 CE and introduced Islam to the Philippines. Tourists continue to visit Sharif Makdum's tomb on the islands of Sibutu, where he died. The ruins of the masjid can still be seen today, and the first mosque erected in the Philippines in 1380, which is now known as Tawi-Tawi, is still standing. The next, history of terrorism in the Philippines. This lesson focused on how terrorism began in the Philippines, including the beginnings of insurgency, linking terrorism with cultural and religious components, and the Philippine government's many counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency operations. We can find trust in this since it is a form of international truth that finding mission reports are purposely recorded for documentary or historical objectives. History of terrorism in the Philippines, an internal fact-finding mission report. This topic addresses the government's peace accord with the MILF, which serve as a clear response to terror attacks by such groups, and encourages peace between the government, citizens, and terrorists. This agreement between the Philippines and the more Islamic Liberation Front generated a calm environment in which they were referred to as parties in the pact, which sounds kind to the ear. The next one is the report of the cholera epidemic in the Philippines. The cholera epidemic in 1902 to 1904 is strikingly comparable to the COVID-19 pandemic in terms of the environmental and human toll, in which an unknown lethal enemy causes the deaths of millions of people. It's most likely a prior circumstance of contagious sickness that puts people's lives and safety in jeopardy. Unfortunately, we are still in such situations and fighting to solve such difficulties. When I picture similar situations for more realistic experiences, in reality, I always find it unbelievable. I hope the citizens, particularly those who believe COVID-19 is a joke, appreciate and collaborate with the government's effort and activities. Please do. We haven't shown any signs of defeating such as an enemy in 2 years. Lesson 16, Mintal, the Little Tokyo of the pre-war Philippines, discusses the significant role of Barangay Mintal in Mindano's local history before World War II, assessing the historical importance of heritage sites in Mintal, endorsing plans and projects to preserve cultural sites in Mintal and other important regions in Tugbok area. Historically, some Dabawenyos and Japanese have had a close relationship because the Japanese have left a legacy that influences us, particularly in terms of starting a business that may benefit our community. According to Tarantera Barangay Mintal, the city's economic center at the time, The next one, Ramon Magsaysay, Rizal Day Speech, June 19, 1956. On the day of June 12, 1956, President Ramon Magsaysay signed Republic Act 1425, commonly known as the Rizal Law, in recognition of Jose Rizal's crucial contribution in achieving our country's independence. Next one. Jose Rizal, particularly his novels No Limitangere, we all know that, and the El Filibusterismo, Rectus response to the post-war social crisis of neo-colonialism and colonial mentality was the enactment of the said law. According to him, reading Rizal's books would reinforce the Filipinism of the youth and encourage patriotism. 1973 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines discusses the transition from presidential to parliamentary rule is called for in the 1973 Constitution, which comprises a preamble and 17 articles. The Constitution gives the National Assembly legislative power. The 1973 Constitution was drafted by the 1971 Constitutional Convention and delivered to President Marcos on December 1, 1972. The next topic is 1987 Philippine Constitution. This topic discusses the 1986 Philippine Constitution by virtue of Proclamation Number 3, year 1986. The Constitutional Commission CONCOM was created to draft a new constitution truly reflective of the ideas and aspirations of the Filipino people. The next one is entitled from the four topics I shared to you are from the Philippine history book, and the first four topics that I shared was from the Torrentera module, and the one is the supplemental that comes from our very own Sir Roland Dalagan. Hope you like my video, and please do subscribe. Thank you.